Hi, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Boy, this man must be the most unluckiest man ever. There are quite a few topics to go through on this particular video right here. So just hang with the video, enjoy the topics, and leave your comments in the comment section below. Wright gets 10 years at hard labor from in sports fraud. Listener, I have never seen anybody in a position of power who gets sentenced to this many years on a white collar crime in Jamaica. Maybe Jamaica is changing, or maybe rights just never have the proper kind of links. Because you know, the first persons I think of when I see that Wright gets sentenced to 10 years at hard labor, immediately I think of the case that is happening right now with former Education Minister Royal Reid and former Caribbean Maritime University President Fritz Pinnock. Them two there. I mean, I think both of them case right now. Fritz Pinnock and Royal Reid are heavily connected inside of the Jamaica Labour Party. I don't know. Wright should have been inviting Andrew Holness and others to his big shindigs when them used to do them chuggets and them French connections and stuff, and rubbing elbows with the who's of who's and what's of nuts, and maybe him wouldn't get a 10-year. Because let's be honest, all of us Jamaicans have never seen anybody who is prominent or connected to prominent people get 10 years at hard labor and end up serving that time. The news today out of Jamaica that was published recently says that the former in sports financial controller that had him job title and party promoter Andrew Wright was on Friday sentenced to 10 years and 7 months at hard labor for his role in the multi-million-dollar fraud scheme at the state-run agency. For those of you who don't know what in sports is, this is a government institution, and basically it is the Institute of Sports. It was established back from 1978 by the government of Jamaica to promote the development of sports at the national level. In short, its mandate is to unearth talent within our Jamaican society, to unearth talent and to facilitate the development of sports in schools across the island and communities while channeling the talent into national sports development programs in order to develop athletes to world-class standards. In other words, this institution is charged with finding the best of the best athletes out of Jamaica and nurturing them from school days all the way up until when they are ready to explode on the international scene and represent Jamaica at the Olympics and other world games and become the best of the best in the world. That's a huge responsibility, and that's a very valuable institution in sports is. Well, Wright was working in sports, and he was the former financial controller there. And it looked like them catch him with him hand in the cookie jar, my friend. And them give him 10 years in and what's it not. Wright, known for staging events such as Chug It and French Connection, you know, say some big party events them there, you know, me I talk about thousands of people roll out, you know. He was convicted of engaging in transactions that involve criminal property and facilitating the retention of criminal property. He was ordered to serve 10 years and 7 months at hard labor on each count by Justice Anne-Marie Lawrence Granger during his sentencing in the Home Circuit Court. Now, if he was sentenced to 10 years on each count, and he was also sentenced to 1 year and 4 months at hard labor on 10 counts of conspiracy to defraud and 2 years and 10 months at hard labor for an act of corruption. The judge, however, ruled that the sentences are to run concurrently, hence the reason why Wright will only be serving 10 years and 7 months before him come out of prison. 10 years is a long rotted time, you know. I see people murder people in Jamaica already and get less than 10 years. And with them ball like a self-defense and all kind of something. I've seen people molest people like big man molest little picnic and get less time than that. So I guess him touch the wrong people's money. Or I guess he didn't have the right connections within the system because them fling him with the truth. Co-accused Rudolph Barnes was also sentenced, but he was sentenced to 12 months, each on 2 counts of conspiracy to defraud and 3 years for an act of corruption. That sentence are also to run concurrently. Meanwhile, O'Neill Hope was sentenced to 11 months, each on 6 conspiracy charges and 5 years and 9 months for the acquisition of criminal property. The now convicts were found guilty of the charges of the latter part of September following a near year-long trial into the, get this, $226 million fraud at InSports, and they were remanded for sentencing. Me don't know if I true, but me did hear say him did take the money from InSports, what the government was pumping into the government institution InSports. I tell you what InSports was established for already. It did it from 1978. It's a government-run get up. Them did I say the man was taking the money and using it to fuel his Chugget parties and his French connection parties. Like him did I flip the government money in some other business that don't have nothing to do with the government. You know how people multitask already. And you know you have your government hustle and then you have your outside hustle. You are a party promoter as well as you might be a police officer, you might be some government worker. That's what he was doing. But according to them, him take out the money, use the money in the entertainment business, and look like him never make the money back in the entertainment business, he put it back in the government account, or maybe he just thought that he could get away with it. So him just start go shopping and buy nice things and give woman nice things and all these things. I don't know if it's true. I'm here that that's what was happening. End of the day, he was convicted. The scheme was uncovered during the 2017 internal audit, which prompted a referral to the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, MOCA. When you know, so when MOCA done hitch on pan, you already, it's not going to be a pretty scene. You have to have all your I's dotted and T's crossed, else you'll go to prison for real. Or you better be connected to Andrew Holness or somebody up the ladder. Now, following an extensive investigation, arrests were made, including Wright in April of 2023, and while he appeared before the Industrial Disputes Tribunal in an unrelated wrongful dismissal matter, 3 female co-defendants, Andrea Picton, Shireen Ferguson, and Jonique Mill, they were all acquitted of their charges, including conspiracy and corruption. Picton and Ferguson had both served as accounting clerks at InSports, while Mills had also faced several charges before being cleared. The prosecution team was led by some prosecutors, Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions Alexia McDonald and Crown Counsel Dwayne Houston for a grand slam. Of course, his attorney is saying they're not happy with the outcome of this at the end of the day, though. It is what it is, and they don't know how the rest go already. They plan to appeal. But I'm saying, though, have you ever seen a case where a prominent person in Jamaica get a decade plus in prison for a white-collar crime? It look like things are changing. Or is it that he just did not have the right connections? Think about that one. I wish him all the best still, $226 million is a lot of money. But me not go to prison for that or even more than that. So God go with him, because me can't go. And another thing is, I don't think Jamaica has different types of prisons. Like they have a federal prison versus them have one prison where I just be a psycho in there. I think everybody get mixed up in a one place. So prison a prison, right? Right. Again, God go with him, because we can't go. On to the next topic now that I would like to talk about. I would like to talk about the deadly leptospirosis outbreak in Jamaica. Shout out to Dr. Dawes. Dr. Dawes warned that things like this would start to happen if the Jamaican government did not get to the cleanup as quickly as possible. I have a gripe also because for all the donations that have come into the country to help Jamaicans in this time of crisis, for those who have been affected by the hurricane Melissa when it passed, right? A lot of stuff was donated. We're not talking about just food, We're talking about tons and tons of food aid that also came with medical aid as well. Medical kits, they have tents, sleeping bags, you have water purification systems, you have, go back to that again, water purification systems. So when the people them hear us saying that the Prime Minister is holding on to all the aid that has came into the country and is not moving like this is a state of emergency, even 4 weeks counting after the hurricane has hit, we're talking not only about food, we're talking about getting these people out of these areas that they're in, getting them out of the situation that they're in where they're wading through these contaminated waters and their water source is locked off. And then people that start drink the water, and start use the water. And sometimes even if you boil the water, it probably not boil good or whatever, and you are gonna get sick. So with the outbreak now of the deadly leptospirosis, I am thinking, where are all the water decontamination kits that were donated to Jamaica among all the other aid that the Prime Minister has been holding on to? Is Andrew Holness ever going to get to the point where he has hashed out this perfect system in his mind, how to distribute all these aids? Or is he still up there twiddling his thumbs and thinking of a better way? Because in the meantime, it looked to me like disease has started to break out and people are starting to die. Shout out to the people who jump on all our videos and say stuff like, come off, I'm a Prime Minister back now, man. Or they think that this is something political. Move on, go PMP, boy. I assure you that this is not political for us because we don't give two flying. Pardon my expression, and I won't say that F-bomb again, but it's just to put emphasis on how much we are for the people and not for a political party. Now, with that said, though, where are the water purification systems? Andrew, sit down on them. So no better start ball film, let them go before the leptospirosis kill out enough of the people then. For the people who are saying SouFLo, I don't know where you're getting your news from because up to yesterday when I checked, I saw news that Dr. Christopher Tufton said that there are no outbreak of any diseases across the island. All right, I'm going to send you which part to go look, okay? You can look at the New York Post. It was published November 22nd of 2025. Breaking news. Deadly leptospirosis outbreak hits Jamaica following Hurricane Melissa devastation. Follow it from there because it was also in the Jamaica Observer as well as other major news media houses out of Jamaica. It is very real. I realize that some Jamaican people don't have no raw sense. And it coming like they are also so desensitized and their hearts are so hardened, they no longer feel compassion or empathy for their fellow Jamaicans. So as long as the storm never blow down for them house and them somewhere comfortable and nice, whatever is happening is not really happening. But I assure you, it is a very real situation for a lot of people who are going through it. Kingston, Jamaica, it says, Jamaica has declared an outbreak of the bacterial disease, leptospirosis. Them use Kingston because that is where Dr. Christopher Tufton was speaking. He wasn't in the areas that were affected. Right. And they have declared an outbreak of the bacterial disease leptospirosis that is suspected of causing 6 deaths so far. People are dead from it. 6 dead so far, following the devastation from Hurricane Melissa in late October. October 28th to be exact. Catastrophic Category 5 Hurricane Melissa sprawl out our big whole self on Jamaica at 185 miles per hour and wreak havoc. The resulting stagnant waters, contaminated waters, or stagnant waters that have now become contaminated. And I want y'all to remember something too. These are the government's numbers I'm using, not mine. So I'm not guessing. Over 1 million livestock was killed. We're talking about dead chickens, dead donkeys, dead horses, dead goat, dead pig, dead dog, dead cat, all of that, animals, dead. And they're out there on land, stinking up the place. Nobody hasn't had time to worry in these affected areas about going all through the place and cleaning up and properly burying or disposing of over 1 million dead animals that are on the land. So what is happening is that they are decomposing and they are getting into the waterways and the water system. Yes. So, of course, again, the decontamination kits that were donated to the country, the people who donated them have been through catastrophes like these before, and they also saw the problems coming. So they already knew that if we're going to help Jamaica, we need to include things like these, because after the hurricane is gone, they are going to have problems with stagnant waters that are going to eventually become contaminated, and it's going to create breeding ground for diseases. But again, your great honorable ruler is sitting on the decontamination kits, and the people them are look like they are consuming or using these polluted waters, and it is affecting the health of the people to the point where people are dying. Health Minister Christopher Tufton announced on Friday, that was November 21st, Friday, he announced that 9 more cases were confirmed between October 30th and November 20th, and there are another 28 additional suspected cases lingering out there. I will say this to you. There are many more people out there with leptospirosis, them just don't know what it is. My wife's cousin just dead from leptospirosis. We can't even believe say a dead, the youth dead. And from what I've been told, he thought he had the flu. He thought he was just not feeling good. And you know, the first thing we as Jamaican do is you go drink like a bush tea, right? And try to take care of yourself that way. I said, no man, me I go lay down because I feel a little bit weak or something. And next thing the brother dead. So I want the people them out there on the ground who might be hearing this in Jamaica. If you are in these affected areas and you are feeling like these symptoms, then please go find some medical help, because it look like this leptospirosis, something here, kill you in a way where you are confused, thinking you just come down with the flu or something like that. You have a bad cold, it gone to a flu, or you just achy and feel weak out, and next thing you know, you're dead. Leptospirosis is spread through water or soil that is contaminated by the urine or infected animals such as rodents, rats. The infection can enter the human body through cuts in the skin or through the eyes, nose, mouth, any one of those openings. So while initial symptoms of it may seem like fever, headache, muscle ache, oftentimes it can be mistaken for the flu. The disease can progress to severe and potentially fatal forms. In the end, it can end up taking your life. Hear this though. It can also cause kidney failure. I don't know if you ever see somebody with kidney fail and end up having to go up on dialysis. It can cause liver damage. It can cause meningitis. Meningitis, I've seen people die from swelling of the brain, and it can cause severe internal bleeding as well. So, my Jamaican people, this is not something that is simple when you hear us talking about leptospirosis outbreak in Jamaica. This is a killer. that we're talking about. The outbreak follows the passage of the storm, which has created conditions that have increased the risk of exposure to these contaminated waters and contaminated soil. This is what Dr. Christopher Tufton said at the press conference. He is warning that anyone who is coming into contact with these floodwaters could be at risk. That's not just the people who are there. That include the voluntary workers who are out and the people who are out doing charitable works trying to get to these people and help these people where government officials have dare not tread, including the farmers and the persons who are engaged in the cleanup activities and the emergency responders and all those people and all those who are navigating through these flood areas are all at risk. Hurricane Melissa left an estimated $10 billion in damages. We're talking about US dollars here, by the way. And according to Jamaican officials, hobbling the nation's key tourism and agricultural sectors and damaging nearly 200,000 buildings. Yes, we know about the statistics and the stats already of all that. We are talking about the leptospirosis. Dangerous times. Remember, I'm telling you, say, the symptoms may seem like fever, headache, muscle ache, kind of something like you feel like, Lord, may I come down with the flu. But in the meantime, it's just working its way through your body. And it can cause kidney failure, liver damage, meningitis, severe internal bleeding, which can all lead to death. So again, warning, if you're in any of these areas and you're going to go through any of these things, then please, if you feel anything are going with yourself, please go get some medical help. All right? John no star, me don't know. Moving on to the next one now. I wake up this morning and here I was scrolling through social media. Y'all know about tracks and records, right? Because everybody was proud of Usain Bolt when Tracks and Records was established. And we are saying, yes, Usain, big up yourself because you done show the world already say you're the greatest. And, all these things in track and field, fastest man that has ever lived. We're talking about Lightning Bolt, Usain Bolt. And then he established Tracks and Records. Business venture where, you can go get your good food and chill out and ambience and all these things. Well, I wake up this morning and all I see was fire. And me I says, which building this burning down? And when I check a stock and look, it was Tracks and Records, St. James, Jamaica. The building which houses the popular Tracks and Records restaurant on Jimmy Cliff Boulevard in Montego Bay was damaged by fire Saturday morning. Reports coming forward are that about 1:40 a.m. in the wee hours of the morning, the fire was observed bellowing from the building and the fire brigade was alerted. 2 units from the Montego Bay Fire Station responded to the blaze and they managed to obtain, get to the thing and curtail the blaze a little bit, because they spray it down with water. And after about 2 hours of firefighting operations, they kind of got the blaze under control. It wasn't no little blaze. I want you to put down a stopwatch and set go and make it run for 2 hours and see how long that is. So you want to tell me, say, it take them 2 hours to fight that the fire there on one building? Anyway, I am not here to judge. So reports are that it was the roof area that was mainly affected by the blaze, but the roof caved in and it fell into the rest of the establishment, causing extreme damage. The fire brigade is yet to establish a cause of the blaze, but investigations are now going to make a determination as to what happened and how this happened. So far, they said that the estimated cost is about $1 million US. Wow. Tracks and Records bun out 1 million US dollars. Well, hear what? In the grand scheme of things, I see them thief about $12 million from Usain Bolt at the SSL something the other day in Jamaica, and Usain never shed a tear. Me and you don't understand what it is like to have that kind of money, my friend. So, I mean, it's a bad thing that Tracks and Records burn out, but is he able to recover? I mean, if the damage is $1 million, that simply tells me that won't be hard for Usain to cough up that money. If him never ball about the 12 million, are you as we're talking now? I don't want anybody listening to this video think we're talking about 12 million Jamaican dollars, because it wouldn't be a thing for Usain. We're talking about 12 million US dollars that he lost, that was stolen from him, rather. Because you know, when we say he lost it, it make it sound like, say, him walk down the road and it drop out of him pocket at his fault. No, them thief him money. 12 million US dollars. So now that him restaurant burn out and is 1 million to fix it, Usain will be on top of that, man. And it will be fixed back in no time. It was just sad to see it up in flames. And of course, you know, the rumor mills is spinning and people are talking and conspiracy theorists are theorizing and everybody attack. Some people are saying, well, you know, the hurricane the hurricane come and people want to collect upon them insurance money. Sometimes people want to build back even better. So insurance money I figure pay out now because I'm sure insurance money covers the fire. Other people are saying these are biblical times, prophecies are fulfilling, is where we do to God because we over here and listen to people with them nasty music and we have promoted a nasty lifestyle in Jamaica and we're not serving God anymore like we used to and we're not praying and fasting like we should be and this is our punishment so the place a catch on fire and all kind of thing. And of course, there are other people who are saying, I them same one set the place on fire because them want insurance money. And there are others who are saying, is somebody go up there go set the place on fire, maybe out of bad mind and jealousy. We don't know. All that I've said to you concerning this place is what is being said in the media space, not what has been proven to be factual. All right? So we just going to make you know that. Now, all right, people. So let's talk about Jamaica's Gabrielle Henry, Miss Jamaica Gabrielle Henry, the person who went overseas to represent Jamaica in the beauty pageant that fell off the stage. According to the New York Post, it says that Miss Jamaica Gabrielle Henry is expected to remain hospitalized for at least another week after her brutal fall from the Miss Universe stage in Thailand on Wednesday. Now, first there were reports out that she was doing just fine. There were no broken bones. She will be up and running soon. They're just keeping her for further assessment just so she gets the best care possible, etc., etc. And then it says she's going to be, or she is in ICU. The next update we saw was that she is not doing as good as we thought, and that her family is asking for privacy and that people refrain from making assumptions on social media. Listen, first of all, right, I left a comment that said you can't control what people are going to be saying on social media. At this point, people are going to make assumptions. I feel like the crowd was baited. I feel like them bait everybody because first everybody was cheering for her, you know what I'm saying? It's Jamaica she representing. We're going through a lot right now in Jamaica. Hurricane does come, mash up one whole section of Jamaica. People are going through a lot. Everybody is out trying to help stabilize that part of the country and the whole country in essence. And then, you know, the reggae boys with their thing off to the World Cup situation. And then just a bag of something go on. And then now our representation at Miss Universe ends up literally falling out of the competition by falling off of the stage. Can't make this up. So everybody is like, damn, Jamaica Salt. So all eyes were on her, even if they weren't on her before, they were on her after the fall, especially after they showed how high that stage was. I believe that stage was about 4 or 5 feet tall, right? Or I could be wrong. It's probably even more. It's a high stage. And I watched the video again, and when she fell face first off the stage. That means that's a hell of a fall. She licked something on the concrete ground below. She left on a stretcher. She didn't wave to the people or the camera saying, like when an athlete get hurt on the field and the game pauses momentarily and they stabilize the athlete and get the athlete up. One of the first things they always tell the athlete to do is wave to the crowd so everybody knows that, you're okay, or you're injured, but you're going to be okay. You're conscious. You're here. And they wave, and then everybody would go, yay, okay, he's injured, but he'll be all right. Then they take you off the field. She didn't make no signs or motions or anything. People think she did drop off at the stage and broke her neck, So here we are now forward. They gave us some information saying she is not hurt. That was the first information that came from there. So she is not hurt, as in no broken bones, and she will be just fine. Full recovery expected. And then we started taking it lightly, like, damn, that was a hell of a fall, but thank God she all right. She'll be okay. They said no broken bones and full recovery. And then 2 days later, news headline says she is in ICU. ICU means intensive care unit. ICU means that's where people go when things are traumatic, like bad. Right? And of course, that's what sparks everybody's mind now. Like, and then they captioned that with, she is not doing as well as we thought. So how you gonna 2 days later tell people she in ICU, she's gonna be there for at least another week or two, and she is not doing as well as we thought, and then tell people, say, please refrain from speculation. Please refrain from speculation because it might make the family feel uncomfortable or something like that. I would advise the family to stop paying attention to social media at this point if it's going to make them feel uncomfortable, because one thing you cannot do is you cannot control what the public is going to say. This is not a story that is just in Jamaica. This is a story that is global. The news I am reading it from is not even in Jamaica. I am reading it from the news in the USA. You can go look at the New York Post, and they ran a whole segment on it. So, she is also not a private person anymore. She's a public figure. She is representing an entire nation. So she dropped off at the stage. She hurt herself. Everybody is going to be talking. They're talking from here to Timbuktu. Everybody who is in there is talking. Okay? So for the family's sake, stay away from social media because we are going to speculate. People are already speculating that things might be happening to her. I've seen comments where people are saying, listen, get her up out of there, get her to the United States of America and get her to a doctor on that side. We don't know what them are do over there, so and them probably don't have competent doctors. I don't know if that is true. I'm just saying what the crowd is saying. So I guess these types of speculation will worry the family more and more. And them just want everybody to be quiet. You have some people who are saying organ harvesting. Organ harvesting. Like they might take our organs and then say, and then she dead from the fall off of the stage and all kind of something. People are saying their stuff what they want to say. People are speculating, and that is exactly what they're going to do when you tell us that she was okay, and then 2 days later you said she is not as well as you thought she was, and now she's in ICU. If they didn't want the crowd to speculate, they should have never told the crowd that. Now that the horse is out the gate, speculations are all over the place. I'm just saying this to tell my audience, keep her in your prayers, okay? Because she went over there to represent us, and of course, it didn't go as planned, and now she finds herself in a situation where she ended up in an ICU, and it's been quite a few days since her fall. So obviously, it wasn't just a simple fall. For the people who are saying, get her to the United States of America, put her in a trauma unit there, or get her to some other country, we don't know the extent of her injury. If you fall from that high and you caught a head injury, you might not have any other broken bones in your body. Hence the first report that those doctors over there said they've checked her out thoroughly. There were no broken bones, but you might have an internal injury. You might have an internal injury in the head, or you might have an internal injury in some other part of the body, the cavity of the body. So we don't know the extent of her injury. And she might have an injury where they are not able to fly her long distance at the moment. So she can't just get up out of there and fly me to the US. Some medical issues, you can't get on an airplane and get up in the sky because of pressure in cabin buildup and all other kind of something. I had a foot injury one time and I was heading to Jamaica, and when I got to the airport in Miami, Florida, my foot started to bleed profusely, like right before I boarded my flight. And I went and locked myself into a bathroom stall, and the blood was so much it run out of the bathroom stall, and somebody started knocking on there saying, you okay in there, you okay in there? The person ended up calling security. They ended up calling the people that came with the wheelchair. And a medic came, and the medic said, are you just coming in or are you going out? I said, I'm heading to Jamaica. And the person was like, I guess you're gonna have to cancel that flight, because with your foot bleeding like this, we can redress it, but it needs to be addressed that you cannot go up in a cabin like this, because air pressure and whatever, coagulated blood turns blood clot. You can die from a DVT, deep vein thrombosis. And I was like, oh. He said, yes, you could end up with a heart attack or a stroke. And I couldn't go to Jamaica, so I had to cancel my trip. So I'm just saying, I don't know the extent of her injury, but there are some injuries where you cannot just jump on a plane and go in the sky. It makes it even more worse. So again, keep her in your prayers, and I hope things work out. We're not going to speculate anything, but we want the family to know, say, you can't stop the public from speculating. So the most you can do to rest your nerves as her family and close loved ones is stop paying attention to the comment sections on social media. Because people are going to talk. All right? All right. All right, my Jamaican people, let's take a break from our scheduled program here and get into this promo of a wonderful product from a company called Soninka Limited. Soninka Limited Solar Lighting. They have interior lighting available. Extra bright street lights like you're seeing in this video clip available. You can use these lights to light up your streets and avenues, lanes and corners, your backyard, your farm, your front yard, any which part need lighting. And this is all powered by God's Son. Solar, no man, solar. You don't have a JPS bill to pay. And they are available island-wide. So check it. Intelligent lighting control, dimmable remote controlled, rechargeable on cloudy days. Listen, hook up, link up with Soninka right now. Oh, and tell them SouFLoTV sent you and get a nice discount. And get yourself out of the darkness and into the light. Peace.